Hi, welcome back to the Getting to Know Linux series. We're looking at the Apache web server today. So it is going to be using our Ubuntu virtual machine that we created a few episodes ago. So we're going to go ahead and power that machine on. So I'm going to choose up in the virtual box manager here. I'm going to click the Ubuntu machine and I'm going to choose Start. So it's going to go ahead and start that thing right up. Remember, this is our machine. The username is student. The password is password. For those of you who are just starting this machine back up and you may have forgotten. And that information is also over in the description. In fact, let me see. It's on the it's on the page. So if you look on the page right there, you'll see that you get the student and password and stuff of that sort. Now that we've got this thing started up, so it's up and running, let's log into it. Now we're not going to log in from the interface anymore because this is now a server. So we can actually minimize this if we wanted to. Just click, minimize it. We're going to log into this remotely via SSH. So as we go through and click through SSH here, we're going to SSH student because that's the username and then the IP address, which is the 192.168.1.120. That's on mine. On yours, it probably is something else. I press enter, and there it is. So now I've logged into the system. We can see that I've got all these little settings that are running and everything else. And if you do want to download this image, then I can, this image is provided for all the classes there on the 10.10.51.200 network. I might be able to get this online somewhere out on the internet, and you can download the image I'm using. And that way you're using the same image that I'm using in the videos. So I can possibly provide a link to that. Let me see if I can do that. So how do we install Apache? Well, first of all, what's Apache? Apache is a web server. It is very straightforward in its configuration. How do you get it? Well, that's going to be one of the most straightforward parts of this is we're going to type sudo apt-get install Apache2. When you do that, then it's like, hey, are you sure you want to install this? Yes. And it looks like we're just about done. So that is installing Apache web server. So I hope you have a great day. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we did. We have now installed the Apache web server. We can bring up a web browser. We can actually visit the web server at this point. To verify that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over as a super user and run a bash shell as a super user. So everything is a super user right now. So I can check etc init.d Apache 2, type status, and it is running. So it says, hey, active and running. If you look right there on the screen, you'll see that active, running. Super. What do I have in my directories? Well, let's go var www.html. And if I look in here, then I have index.html. There are two sets of directories that are really significant with Apache. Now, there are a couple more, but there are two that are extremely significant, and that is going to be cd over to etc Apache2. So we're in the etc Apache2 directory and the var www directory. So the Apache2 directory is where all your configuration files are, and the www directory is where your actual websites are. So if I'm over in the Apache2 directory here, then I can look at configurations. I've got the conf available and conf enable. Now there is an Apache command to enable configurations. And so you've got these, you have a couple of little Apache enable options and enable Apache module options and things of that sort. What we're going to look at here is just getting it up and running, and some advanced features might come over a little bit later. And you'll see those Apache enable module kind of things and possibly later. Well, maybe we'll do it today. I don't know. I don't want to make this video too long. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we have conf available and conf enabled. So if I go over to conf enabled, these are the configurations that are currently enabled in the system. That means these are running. So I'm going to pop back out. I'll look at this, and I'm going to go sites available. Sites available are sites that are available to be enabled. You don't have to use the Apache enabling tools for this. You can link it with a symbolic link. Now let's go back over, and we're going to look at sites. Now you see what I'm doing, the double dots. If you don't, then that's part of our commands where we go through and we do .. takes us up one directory. So I'm going to go to sites enabled. And I'll look at those. And if you look at that, we have a default site, that 000-default.conf, which is a link. It's a symbolic link to sites available 000-default.conf. Default-SSL is not enabled. So I don't know if we should look at these kind of things. When you do the A2 series, you're going to see that you've got a couple of options here. We've got the A2 enable configuration and A2 enable module, which is my old look at, and A2 enable site. So we've got some options there. And what this does is if we do an A2 enable site, then it's going to make a link to whatever you want to do. As you look at that, feel free to play around with it. And since this will be an OVA file, you can go through and play as much as you want. And if you destroy it, just re-import that OVA. So what we're going to do now is just look at that configuration. So that's 000-default. Okay, virtual host *80. So in the virtual host settings, when we look at Apache and we get into a little more advanced Apache concepts, we'll look at how you do vhosts and what a virtual host is and how you put additional names in your server. Right now, this is just getting Apache installed. So we've got the document root there, var www.html, shows where the document root is for all your websites. We have an error log and a custom log. You can change those logs if you want to. You can give it a little extra options there. And then it ends with that virtual host. Now at the very bottom, it gives you a Vim syntax, which we have little Vim notes in there. So VI improved has a couple of notes in there. So I'll pop out of that. Oops. I'll pop out of that there. And then if we go back over to the var www.html directory, if I look at index.html, then that's my index.html. And it's just a regular web page. If we want to look at that, then we can open up a browser. And inside of our browser window, we can just go over and visit the site. Let me drag a browser over here. Here we go. And we'll go to the 192.168.1. Right there, 120. And we have the Apache2 Ubuntu default page. Now, if I don't want that there, then I can go over here and I can go rm-f index.html. Bloop. Now, if you do that, you're deleting index.html, so it's going to be gone forever, and you'll have to restore the OVA file to get it back. It's really not useful, so it's okay to delete it. Now that I've deleted it, if I hit refresh, then it shows me the index of. So it's showing me the directory contents of my var www directory. If I go in and I make a new index, so vi index.html, or let's just make a file, vi file 0.01.txt, and in this file I'll say hello world, and then I'll save it. Now if I go back over to my Apache and I refresh, then we see my file 01.txt, and I can click on it and it says hello world. Now notice this did not come up as a web page. If you want to do that, you need to type index.html. So let me go over and do a vi index.html. Now this one we'll do HTML and we'll say hello world, and we'll close it out HTML. There we go. So I just did really simplistic. Don't even need to put that in there. In fact, we can write it like I was talking about before, and we can look at it. So go back over and we can just F5, refresh that. We had hello world now. When we did that, we didn't quit, so we can go back over this one and let's say, oh, I want to do something else over here. Let's say I want a title. I'll go ahead and put that in there. I'll say title, web page, very creative title like that. And I want to change this to H3, H1, why not? And I want to center it. So center, then I'll go down here and I'll go over here and get rid of H1 and I'll get rid of center. There you go. There's, and I'm going to quit this time, so I'm going to pop out of there. Go back over to my browser. And inside the browser, I'm going to refresh, and you can now see it's hello world. That is it. That is installing the Apache web server. It's now ready for you to upload websites or create websites or install learning management systems or content management, anything that you want to do, it is ready for you to go. Hope that you found this video useful, and I look forward to talking to you later. Take care.